Good afternoon, everyone. This is Woody Collins, and I'd like to apologize for starting a little late today. Uh, it was one of those days when I thought I had already accomplished some matters, and I had not accomplished them, like i.e., setting up, scheduling this uh, this live stream. I thought it was already scheduled, and so when I got ready to start it, I said, I have not even started live have not scheduled it, so I needed to go back and schedule it and do all those type things that you have to think about. So we have a couple of interesting subjects today. One is that I looked at a webinar this morning, and the webinar had a very interesting title: Harnessing Hydropower in the DRC. That's the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Hydropower, that's having dams to make electricity. And so electricity is one of those things that I talked about earlier that I think that's necessary for the Congo to jump into the next level and get out of the lowest level of extreme poverty is they need electricity. And as I posted in the comments, you may want to take a look at the comments, that the hydropower is very efficient, and it's also sustainable as long as the climate change doesn't stop the rivers from flowing and things like that. But it's something that they should explore. There's one dam that they have now, a huge one, called Inga 1, and it's on the Congo River, and it provides electricity to southern Africa, and I would say some of the countries around the mining in the very south of Congo, and also some of the neighboring countries. It does not provide electricity for the people of Congo. On the slides that they were presenting this morning in this webinar that they were talking about harnessing the hydropower, one of the presenters, the first presenter, said there's only about 1% of electricity in the rural areas. And then also in the urban areas, there was only about 10 to 15% of electricity. The power grid is almost non-efficient, non-existent, broken, torn down, and most of the power grids do not provide any power. Only if they do, it's on a limited basis. For instance, in Congo, where I go, the power comes on maybe at 6:30 or 7 o'clock at night, and it goes off about 9 or 9:30. 10 o'clock at the latest. So you don't have power. What people do, they use a lot of fossil fuels, i.e., diesel fuel, to power generators for power. So there's a lot of wasted energy that we're using, polluting the air and everything else that we're using for to generate electricity, and that's not a grid that's on individual places. At night, there is a large generator that powers the town of people who are connected to the town, but that's also diesel operated. So if they run out of diesel, there's no power for weeks, even sometimes up to months, because that diesel fuel comes in by the railroad, and there's only one road coming into town. And if for some reason the train doesn't make it into town in a timely manner, you don't have electricity. So this subject was very interesting to me, and what I found out, because I didn't read all the information on it a lot, was this was a webinar that was being put on by the mining consortium in honor, I guess, in recognition of Manning in the DRC week. And so it was a lot of companies that was putting out stuff, and most of the discussion was putting in dams and making hydropower to generate electricity for the mining operations. And I kept looking for them to talk about what about the communities. We already have power lines generating that's taking electricity outside of the Congo, passing right through towns almost, and it's not, and the town is black, dark, and it's it's just ridiculous. So I thought at least that they were going to come up with and say, oh, we're going to put it in this hydro station that's going to provide electricity for this town. But all the discussion was, oh, we're going to build this hydro, or we can build this hydro station that's going to supply electricity for this mine. Oh, and yeah, maybe the surrounding communities, which is just kind of like interesting, and the surrounding communities, they said. And of course, those surrounding communities is the office people who work in the mines, who run the mines. They build new towns out near the mines so that the people don't have to uh, drive in long distances away. They're right there on property. They also have all the conveniences like electricity, running water, and all that type of infrastructure that's already be put in for them. And so those are the community. And maybe some of the workers, perhaps some of the Congolese workers, if they stay out near those communities that's going to be built for the mines, they will have electricity. But for the most part, this was a whole presentation webinar on, how you can come up with more mines to mine Congo's natural resources. And the way we need that is we need to build some hydro plants to efficiently operate that, because we can't run a mine off of diesel fuel, because we can't get in enough diesel fuel into those places for the mines. And so this is what the hydros are for. And I looked at it, it's another case of the poor Congolese people is there without any mines, without any electricity again. So, I was looking for a government official to say, oh, and we're going to provide electricity for this town and this place and this place. They did not mention anything about for the poor people who need it, or even auxiliary industries such as maybe make cars or do anything like this. It was strictly on mining, and so it was a self-contained interest group of mines saying, here's what we're going to do for mining in the Congo as we get the raw materials and natural resources out of Congo, and here's the hydro power plants that we're going to have to build in order to get it out efficiently over the next 10 to 15 years, which they had estimated. So I left that whole webinar this morning a little bit, wow, this looks nice. However, but for the poor people who do not have electricity and the kids who need it for schools and all that stuff, they do not have it. Not at all. So that's what the first topic. The second topic is Ebola. It's been over a week that I have not saw any information on what's going on with the Ebola over in Western Congo. The last I saw, it was about 50 dead, and it was almost approximately 120 people who were infected, but there have not been any additional information coming out, and that kind of means that there's probably a problem going on. It may not be a problem with the Ebola itself, but the last time this happened, when we did not get in a daily report on what was going on over in Western Congo, it was because of the government had not paid the nurses and the people who were working on the front lines out there, had not got paid, so they went on strike. So I would probably guess that there is something similar going on, while we have not heard anything about what's going on with the Ebola over in Western Congo. However, it would be very good if they come back and say, oh, we haven't had any new cases of Ebola in the last 7 days. Because to end an Ebola outbreak, you have to have 42 consecutive days of no new Ebola uh, infections come up with any new cases. So that's one of the things that I hope uh, that would be nice if they report that information. However, I think it's something that's uh, dealing with some government that's not paid somebody, somebody's on strike, something that's going on while you haven't seen any information out of the West. So those are the two subjects I had today, and I apologize again for coming on late and with the broadcast today. And also, I started the long countdown at 5 minutes, and that was just to give you a warning, give you a notice that I was coming on, and not to leave and everything like that. So tomorrow, I will make sure I put all the check marks in the appropriate place to make sure that the broadcast has been properly scheduled and the notices sent out, so that we can have another enjoyable program tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and not at 3:05 or 3:10 as we started today. So thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And as always, take care of yourself and your family. Uh, be safe, wear your mask, and be blessed.